The website, computertalkradio.com. Computertalkradio.com. There's plenty of ways to check out the show. The YouTube channel is hot linked there. You'll be able to go there. Hot linked. Why did I use hot linked? Hyperlinked. There's a link there. There we go. That's what I want to say. Crazy week for me, and just a bunch of other things going on. This has been quite wild. I saw a preview of a movie that I can't even talk about, but it'll be cool. A lot of people are going to enjoy this movie that's coming up, and there's some new directions for taking movies, but that's another story. Phone number 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-637-3888. All right, so let me give you a quick headline here of what's coming up on this week's show. In the second hour, we're going to be talking about Windows 10 and the deadline, which comes up next week. We're going to be talking later on this hour about Gorilla Glass, and that's going to be with Keith M. Sedor, the whole direction of where Gorilla Glass is going with the iPhone. And coming up next, we're going to be talking with Jessica Noland. She is with Spiceworks. Yes, I know we had them last week, but there were two different things that we wanted to touch on, and we needed two different people to talk about them. And Jessica's going to be talking about Sysadmins Day. That's like Nerd Day. That's next Friday. Yeah, it's this coming Friday, really. So we'll be talking about that. We're going to give you all kinds of information on that. But first, let's dive into the news. All right, this weekend is Comic-Con, so there's a lot of stuff going on in regards to Comic-Con. We are not there at Comic-Con, and even if we were, the information I'd have for you right now would be very minimal. Comic-Con basically runs a number of days, and there's all kinds of exciting things. And the most exciting things come out Saturday evening, Sunday evening. So, it's kind of rough. So, there you go. Pokemon. Wow. This is an unbelievable concept. Who would have ever thought that this would go so wild? This has just been an amazing just transformation of the entire game of applications, of working with, yes, of course, your smartphone, and more and more and more and more. It's absolutely taking over all kinds of people's worlds. One of the things that I do want to point out, I was surprised by this, and yet not surprised. Apparently, a number of people have been downloading various apps to help you basically catch all of the Pokemon. There's a catchphrase, catch them all, and that's this basic catchphrase with Pokemon, and they give you all kinds of instructions. Hey, check this out. Go to this park or this church or here, there, wherever. And the information, not really it is really information. The Pokemon, if you will, is there. That one that you want is there. So, very interesting how this is evolving. A number of people have gotten into accidents, both in their car, walking off of basically high places. A number of people have been caught. As a matter of fact, some police basically have utilized a very interesting approach with this whole Pokemon Go phenomenon, and they are utilizing Pokemon Go to lure in and capture escaped fugitives from the law. Wow. Wow. If your name appears on the following list, you're one of the lucky ones. Come on down to the station to capture Charizard. Hurry before the Charizard leaves. Okay, so I guess Charizard is a valuable character. It's a rare character. And you come down to the police station, and they basically only put the people on the list that are, bad guys. In another direction with Pokemon, and I promise I won't do much more, at least. I'll try not to. There's a big, huge thing. Did Saudi Arabia ban Pokemon because of things? Is there a fatwa against the Pokemon Go mobile game? Well, apparently there was a fatwa back in the early 2000s. They said at the time of the original ruling, they had several religious violations, including references to gambling and evolution. So there's a lot to this. And it's still going back and forth as to whether or not it's a legit thing, whether it's, a bunch of imams that got around and sat around and said, yeah, this is bad, or if it was an actual state decision. It isn't available, though, quite oddly, in Saudi Arabia. So there is, Speaking of Islamic, there is, of course, a list of a number of American citizens that have had threats against them based on ISIS or ISIL or however you want to refer to them as. And apparently a hacker has gone through and started to attack various people who are on that list. And I'm just amazed. So in effect, yeah, they were on the list and they were targeted by this guy who is from Albania, and actually technically he was in Malaysia. So lots of stuff there. Verizon. Oh man, I can't believe they're doing this. What they've decided is they're going to start removing unlimited data. If you use over 100 gigabytes per month with your phone, they're going to take you off of unlimited data. And their demands are you've got to change your plan by August 31st or get booted off of the network. And since they haven't had an unlimited plan for a long time, that, you might say, okay, but it's one of those things where I get uncomfortable with this, especially since a lot of these plans, well, basically, these plans have been around for ages, and it costs less now for them to serve up 100 gigabytes than it used to be for serving up 100 gigabytes. But yeah, maybe these people are utilizing it or overutilizing it way more than they should. How much does a 100 gigabyte plan cost, by the way? Any idea for you? When I look at this, and my total phone bill is $150 for two phones, maybe $140. How about this? $450 for one. Well, it's basically for all of the phones on the program, but 100 gigabytes across. That's got to be a lot of phones. Under 1% of the Verizon customers remain on an unlimited data plan. So, yeah, pretty wild there. Another item that this is kind of a sad demise. Why is it sad? Well, because years ago, in the mid-'80s, I got my first VCR. Yeah, I got my first VHS VCR. And it was actually later on that I got my first Betamax VCR. But that's another story altogether. Apparently, there is a company that's still making VCRs through the end of the year. Yeah, that's it. At the end of the year, Funai Electric is basically pulling the plug. Literally, they're going to stop making VCRs. They've actually been producing VCRs for a number of different companies that have been putting their own names up on top of this. And this is one of those things. If you've got a lot of VHS cassettes around, you might, you might take the chance and put one of these aside to hang on to basically have it around for your various memories or whatever else. As a matter of fact, if you want to convert your VHS tapes over to DVD, there are a number of different companies out there that offer that service. Jessica Nolan is coming up next here on Computer Talk Radio, and we're going to be talking about Sysadmin's Day. Yeah, that's the day for all of your IT people that you know. Yeah, celebrate them.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio, so I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
The phone number, 888-NERD, 888. That's 888-6373-888. I am a computer nerd. I enjoy this so much. And there's all of these different chances to show my nerd side. And one of the things, though, is sometimes us nerds are not all that appreciated. Or we don't feel that, I guess. Coming up next, this next Friday is Sysadmin Day, and I've got Jessica Noland on the line from Spiceworks. Now, we talked with Spiceworks last week, but there were two things that revolved around July 29th. One was Windows 10. We talked about Windows 10 last week in that regard, but this week we want to talk about Sysadmin Day. Jessica, this is absolutely sort of this amazing concept. You've been entitled Sysadmin Day Fanatic. Tell me what makes you is so gung ho for this?
Well, Ben, it's funny. I mean, what I've noticed in working at Spiceworks is, we serve IT pros, and IT pros have the misfortune of people generally, their coworkers and people in general, not really understanding what it is they do. What is IT even, and how does that translate as far as their day-to-day responsibilities? So I have some compassion and sympathy for people working in this profession, because generally they're very hardworking individuals, misunderstood, often underappreciated because no one really knows what they do. And so it's just Sysadmin Day, or System Administrators Appreciation Day. It's just a fun way to recognize the men and women working in IT, and I just love the history behind the holiday. So I get really excited this time of year. The last Friday in July each year is just a fun time for us here at Spiceworks to be able to tell our users, hey, we think you're awesome, and we want to give back to all of you that support our offices, make the technology work and help us be able to do our jobs with that technology.
Now let's make it clear. This is not just for people who have the title of system administrator, because that's a very defined title, and this is actually for all the nerds. Yeah.
Sysadmin Day, like you said, doesn't have to be the title of system administrator. It could be network admin, help desk tech, someone working in production operations, even your CIO. That could fall under the umbrella of Sysadmin Day. It's just the term that kind of stuck because the gentleman who created Sysadmin Day was and is a sysadmin himself. So that was the title. But yeah, certainly it applies to the entire realm of professionals working in IT.
Now, just so people don't think that we're just sitting here and there aren't any other holidays that are developed around various titles, give me a couple of them that people have celebrated over the years.
Right. So I think a lot of people, at least in the U.S., working in offices are probably familiar with Administrative Professionals Day.
Oh, yeah.
Which I believe happens in April. I should know the exact date because we celebrate it here at the office. But another one is National Teacher Appreciation Day, which anyone with kids has probably been notified about that holiday before. So it's very much in the same category of taking some time to recognize people working in these different professions. The difference between those, however, and sysadmin day is, again, a lot of people don't know what their sysadmin or their IT pro does, much less that there's a holiday every year dedicated to celebrating them.
Yeah. We all know what the admin assistant does. We know what the teachers do. These are so the stuff they do for us is so valuable, but we don't really. As a professional nerd, it links up with one of my other things. I run the sound at my church. So both of these are thankless jobs. If everything is going well, nobody knows we even exist.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you know that IT is doing their jobs really well if everything's running smoothly and you don't know that they're working.
Exactly.
It's only when disaster strikes where you might be like, I need the quote unquote IT guy to come help me fix this.
Yeah, and I need him now.
And I need him right now.
So now you have a passion for the backstory of sysadmin day. Give me. I'm not even aware of the backstory. I know it was 15, 17, 20 years ago.
Absolutely. So Spiceworks actually took some time a few years ago to interview the creator of sysadmin day, so we got the scoop from him. So it was started 17 years ago by a gentleman by the name of Ted Kekatos. I hope I'm saying that right. I believe it's Kekatos. But he was working as a sysadmin at this company, and he was inspired by a print ad that he saw. It was an ad from Hewlett-Packard, and they were showing their new printer model at the time. It was an HP LaserJet 4000, so let that sink in for a second.
yeah, that was a while back,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And anyway, the ad showed this, presumably this IT pro. He was sitting in his cube, and his coworkers are lined up outside the cube with fruit baskets and flowers and gifts for him.
Naturally, that happens to me.
Right.
Wait, no, it doesn't.
Happens all the time, right? No, never, ever. So Ted sees this ad, and he's like, oh, this is fantastic. And he tears it out, and he shows it to a few of his coworkers, and he just thought that, what a great idea, right? Like, you and I are joking because we know what really goes on.
Yeah.
But he thought, okay, sysadmin getting gifts and recognition, like, this is great. And so at the time, he was doing websites and domain names, and so he just went home and he registered the name, and he just put up a really simple website, sysadminday.com.
Okay.
Yeah, and so what was happening at his company was their annual company picnic was coming up, and it was on the last Friday in July. So Ted, being the smart guy that he was like, you know what, here's a great opportunity to this will dovetail very nicely with this holiday that I'm essentially making up for myself. And so he just sent out an email to all his coworkers and just said, hey, guess what? This company picnic is also going to be sysadmin day. And he said that people just, they forwarded it to their friends. And then, word of mouth, the news kind of spread around, and then press started picking it up. And the event, while it started with just his office in the 17 years since, it's continued to gain traction with each passing year. which is really cool. I just love the origin story of that. And, props to him. Like, I laugh about it, but I think it's really cool that he just stood up and said, you know what, this is a tough job, and if you don't want to celebrate it for me, celebrate it for the millions of other IT pros that just kind of go unnoticed each day because they're working behind the scenes.
I love this. I don't think that I would have the wherewithal to decide to co-opt the company picnic for something like this.
I know. It's kind of great, the gumption there. I absolutely love it and admire it. And obviously he was onto something, because you look at it now, Sysadmin Day is celebrated around the world. In fact, in Russia, it's celebrated as an outdoor festival of sorts, held in numerous cities in Russia.
Wait. An outdoor festival. So everybody in Russia is celebrating all of these guys who know how the computers work.
Yes.
I love this. What am I doing here? Everybody shouts at me when the computers don't work.
Yeah. Admittedly, I think the U.S. still has a ways to go in getting that kind of achieving that kind of awareness around the holiday. Russia's ahead of us on that one.
Just a tad, just a little bit. All right, so hold that thought. We're going to go to a break here in just a moment. I do want to note I'm talking with Jessica Noland. She is the Sysadmin Day fanatic over at Spiceworks. We talked about Spiceworks last week a whole lot. If you go listen to the podcast or check us out on our YouTube channel, brand new YouTube channel, that's great. Information for both of those available at computertalkradio.com. We'll be back in just a moment. I'm constantly looking for the right place to get computer hardware. It's not easy, as there are so many stores that have gone out of business, so many shady characters online, or they're simply not capable of handling diverse needs. In 1979, two guys got together and built a computer company that could serve your nerdy needs. Micro Center. The wide range of products at Micro Center includes even the latest of Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and other hobbyist-level computers. They also have drones. They've got them in all price categories, from toys to, oh boy. Look, you're looking for console gaming, home automation. Micro Center's got that. Hardware, software, accessories, or, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. From Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com.
Yeah, he's our favorite nerd.
The website, computertalkradio.com. Just before the break, I said that, computertalkradio.com. Jessica Noland is with me, and Jessica Noland is with Spiceworks, off in Austin, Texas. And they do their job every year to promote Sysadmin Day. And Sysadmin Day is what we've been talking about. It's actually kind of a nice, neat holiday that is similar to Admin Assistance Day, or I don't know. I don't want to. I hate to say like Veterans Day, because that's really not. I don't even want to go in that direction. But
sure,
because I definitely believe in our veterans. But you got kind of the idea. It's a matter of it's a holiday to celebrate the nerds. So. Before the break, you were talking, Jessica, about in Russia an outdoor festival. Now, is this something that happens a lot in other countries as well, or is this just like a weird phenomenon that they just love their nerds in Russia?
I'm not sure why it's gained so much more traction over there. I think that as far as where the holidays gain the most headway, definitely the U.S. Parts of the UK, Russia is this anomaly that I'm very curious. I haven't been able to glean enough information for my research there, but it's just interesting to see all the different ways people are celebrating the fine folks that support this technology. So I just thought that was just a very a very nice standout. An outdoor festival isn't the first thing that would come to mind when I think about celebrating IT professionals.
Here in the United States, I just have visions of our IT fellow IT professionals just being lifted up like they used to do in like with Cleopatra back in Egyptian days. Just lift them up, and that doesn't happen. No matter how much we dream about it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when I think of Outdoor Festival for Sysadmin Day, that scene from Office Space came to mind when they're out in the field hitting the printer over and over, the fax machine with the baseball bats. I think, if I were to try to design the perfect event for IT professionals, maybe it would be something like that, where they can beat up all the old equipment they hate using.
Exactly. That's so. Now I know. Okay, so this past week, you guys at Spiceworks started doing this. The 12 days. I'm trying to remember it. 12 days of Sismas.
Sismas. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So 12 Days of Sismas, obviously a play on the phrase the 12 Days of Christmas.
Sure, yeah.
The idea being that, Spiceworks loves IT pros. We make tools for IT pros, and one day a year just didn't seem like quite enough to properly recognize and honor these folks. And so we decided, let's blow it out of the water. Let's make it a really big deal and do a 2-week celebration with our users, with our customers, and so we called it the 12 Days of Sismas. So each day, leading up to Sysadmin Day for 2 weeks, we have a fun piece of content or a giveaway, a video, like something that's tailored for IT pros that's meant to entertain them, make them laugh, show them appreciation. Just give them a chuckle and let them know, hey, we're here for you and we celebrate you. We really do think you're awesome. And so 12 Days of Sismas, we started in 2014, so we're in our 3rd year.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea of how much fun this is, the very first day, like 250 T-shirts that say IT for President.
That's
which
right.
I saw that, and I almost fell out of my chair. That was absolutely great. So now you guys have done other things. A matter of in 2013, you guys took out an ad aimed at someone. Go ahead and tell us about that one.
Yeah, so Hallmark, the card company, is headquartered in Kansas City. And, we noticed that they don't have, they have cards for lots of different holidays, certainly most of the more conventional ones, but there was no card that you could buy and give to your favorite IT pro to wish them a happy Sysadmin Day. So we took out an ad in the Kansas City Star and asked Hallmark, just called them out and said, hey, Hallmark, why don't you create a card for Sysadmin Day? And we also had mobile billboards driving around Kansas City on Sysadmin Day as well. So we had ads, being driven around town, and we had an ad in the Star, and just, asking them, hey, why don't you create a card? No response yet.
Oh, man, bummer.
3 years later, but we do have our own collection of e-cards, free e-cards that anyone can send to an IT pro to just wish them a happy Sysadmin Day. So there is that at least.
Yeah, and we'll give out that link here in just a moment. Other than the cards, give me an idea of some of the other things that just some of the ideas that maybe from you or maybe from some of the nerds out there. What should people give their fellow IT nerds? I mean, I know what I would like, but I'm just wondering what everybody else would like.
Sure. Well, it might sound a little cheesy, a little corny, but actually just saying thank you to your office IT pro on Sysadmin Day, wishing him a happy Sysadmin Day could go a long way because, again, you might just bowl them over with the very idea that, whoa, you know what Sysadmin Day is and you know that it's today. That might shock them. But an e-card, cake, pizza. You could buy them a cup of coffee that day. Send an email to the whole office and just let them know, hey, guys, it's Sysadmin Day. Tell tell Bill or tell Mary, wish them a happy Salmon Day. Here's all the things that they do for us here.
Sure.
Those are all really easy ways to recognize your IT pro and would probably be greatly appreciated by many of them.
Yeah, or an F-350 pickup truck. That would work, too.
Dream big, right? Yeah, shoot for the stars.
Exactly. All right, Jessica, hey, thank you for talking with us about Sysadmin Day. Now, I know you've got a special place for sending those e-cards. Give out that link where people can do that.
Yeah, it's spiceworks.com/IT cards.
spiceworks.com/IT cards. And I'm going to put that up on the website, so if you go to computertalkradio.com, I'll have the link right there for you this entire week, so you'll be all set. You'll know exactly what to do. Thank you very much, Jessica.
Thanks, Benjamin.
This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. Keith M. Sedor is joining me next.
Hi, this is Benjamin Rockwell. Most of us use digital cameras nowadays, but what do we do with those old pictures and slides in the back of the closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. If you have boxes of old slides, then you know they fade more and more each year. Let Legacy Digital scan them for you and stop the aging process dead in its tracks. You'll get beautiful 10-megapixel digital files, color-corrected and ready for printing. All this is done faster and cheaper than buying a film scanner and doing it yourself. Your files are then burned onto gold archival DVD discs where they will last for generations. Call right now, mention my name, Benjamin Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. And tell them Benjamin sent you. Your memories are priceless, so call 866-2-LEGACY now.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. Anyways, that's the voice of Keith M. Sedor. I want to ask you something in regards to, well, I had just a scary experience with my iPhone. I had left it unattended on top of the microwave, and I got a number of messages and phone calls.
Is this a radiation issue?
No. It buzzed, and then it buzzed again, and it buzzed again as I got all these text messages.
Admiral, I've got to take the mains off the line. It's radiation.
Scotty.
Yes. So with that Star Trek moment in mind, the phone took a dive onto my tile floor from about, I don't know, it's about 4.5, 5 feet up. It just took a dive. Fortunately, I had a screen protector on it. The guys from Bodyguards, spelled like bodyguard but with a Z at the end, they make some great stuff, and we'll probably talk about that in a future show. But one of the things that I wanted to know is the glass that's on this iPhone. Which glass is this? So I've got the iPhone 6S.
That would be the Gorilla Glass 4, which is currently in use on the current generation of iPhones. Because Gorilla Glass 4 was introduced in 2014, and it is designed to withstand 80% of impacts from about 3.2 feet up.
Okay. All right.
So, but if it falls onto a rough surface, but if it falls from a height greater than that, it's almost assured that it's going to shatter every time.
Okay. All right. What's the future of Gorilla Glass?
Well, the future of Gorilla Glass, Benjamin, it just happens that I'm gazing into my crystal apple once again.
Yes. Okay.
Gorilla Glass 5 is now available with marked improvements in its shatter resistance at certain heights. And Gorilla Glass 5 is roughly 4 times stronger than its predecessor, Gorilla Glass 4, which is currently in use. Gorilla Glass 5 is said to survive face-down drops from 5.2 feet onto a rough surface 80% of the time. And it's speculated, and here's the exciting part of this, Benjamin, that we could see Gorilla Glass 5 as soon as this fall when the iPhone 7, or whatever the next generation iPhone is actually called, is released this fall.
All right.
That's exciting stuff.
So
because
now,
I actually just had a client call me not 2 days ago complaining that his wife just dropped her brand new iPhone 6S Plus and shattered the screen.
Okay.
I chided him for not having proper screen protection. And
score one for me.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Zero for the client.
You mentioned bodyguards. I'm actually a fan of a product by a company called Zag. That's Z-A-G-G.
Zag is very nice as well, yes.
Do you know what Zag stands for, Benjamin?
You know what? I have interviewed them probably 3-4 times on the show. I have no idea. I figured that was just somebody's name.
No, it's actually an acronym.
Okay.
Zealous about great gadgets.
Nice. Okay.
So they make a product for people who really care about and want to protect their products.
Mm-hmm. Well,
they make a screen protector called Invisible Shield.
Yes.
And they originally introduced a screen protector that was based on a military-grade polymer. And they did these strength tests where they have huge sheets of it, and they would load up all the weights in a gym, and you'd see it stretch and bow, but it wouldn't break. And they've actually introduced newer products, which are actually made of glass, and they're stronger, which will actually absorb the brunt of the impact of a face-down drop on a rough surface. I upgraded mine from the military-grade polymer style of Invisible Shield to the latest one. I was starting to get a little bubbling around the edges. And what's really nice is if you have it professionally installed at a Zag shop or Zag kiosk, for only the cost of the labor, which is about $10, $15, they will actually replace the product, which is a $40 to $60 product, absolutely free.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
They upgraded me for like an extra $10, and I think I paid like $15 total to go from the old one to the newer, higher one. The funny thing is I got so used to the kind of tackiness. Do you remember color forms when we were kids? Those peel and stick things?
Yes, definitely.
I had Star Trek color forms. They were super cool.
Wow.
Wow. So basically, you've got this kind of tackiness to it, and I was very used to the tactile response I would get with the polymer Invisible Shield. And putting the glass one on, it feels like not having any protection on the screen at all because it's glass, just like the iPhone screen is glass.
Yes.
And it took me a while to get used to. In fact, I'm still not sure I love it because I get used to the tackiness of it. But it definitely is protecting my iPhone 6 Plus. And one of the things I could tell you that as a supplement to your screen protection, the proper case only needs to be raising the edge of the lip about 1 millimeter or so. If that keeps the edges hitting the surface rather than your screen, your likelihood of surviving without any shattering of the screen is a lot greater.
Yeah. I've got a good case on it with the protector on top of it.
Are you using a Spigen case like I am?
Oh, no.
I'm using the Spigen Neo Hybrid. That's a good case.
All right. Very cool. No, I'm using a different one. But minimal space on top of it after the screen protector was on it. So I think that's probably what did it in. But we're going to be. As a matter of fact, that just happened this past weekend. So I'm going to get dash on out and get some more protection. As for now, I'm Benjamin Rockwell.
And I'm Keith M. Cedar.
You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and just a normal person. Recently, though, it was clear to me that it was time to upgrade, but I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After searching around for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their willingness to do things the right way.
The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when a 32-ounce soda would do. These guys know WordPress, Joomla, and regular standard websites. These guys at SiteGround are awesome. SiteGround.com. Site, S-I-T-E, ground.com.
Now, I had someone send in an interesting article, and they were saying, can you believe that companies would do this? And the answer is yes. Not only can I believe it, I agree with this concept. McDonald's and Starbucks are going to stop allowing customers from utilizing their Wi-Fi, whether it's free or paid for, it doesn't matter. They're going to stop them from using their Wi-Fi to access inappropriate websites. And when I say inappropriate websites, we're talking about the improper areas of the internet, the non-family friendly areas of the internet, if you get my drift there. And both of the organizations are saying, yeah, we want to basically filter this and keep our companies family friendly. There are companies that are already blocking it. As a matter of fact, Chick-fil-A and Panera Bread are already blocking this kind of information, this kind of content on their own Wi-Fis. So this is one of those situations where if you're complaining about it, look, it's a public place. And yeah, I know there are ways around some of these things, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to talk about those. I don't agree with people utilizing those methods around the blocking filters in a public place. You know, okay, if you are... look, you shouldn't be on those kinds of websites anyways. But if you are in the safety of your own home, if you're in a private location, that's a little bit different. I find it absolutely just downright horrible that people think that they would have the right to we talked about this a while back. People were on planes, and there were a couple of times it came up where somebody was watching inappropriate material on a flight, and it was one of those things where they got unruly. I recall they had an emergency landing of a plane once because somebody was watching it, and it was a matter of they weren't following the instructions of the flight attendants. Flight attendants said, "Look, hey, we got a complaint. You gotta shut it down. You're in public. You shouldn't be doing this." And they refused to do it. And yep, pilot landed the plane. Yep, you can walk home. I don't know what else to say about it other than, yeah, I applaud this. I think that it is the socially responsible approach for all of us to accept and embrace the filtering of the basic items, the basic information. You know, I don't want to advocate going overboard and blocking 9/10 of the internet. Oh, you can only go to msn.com, stuff like that. No, but you limit it down appropriately. That's not bad at all. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theRadioFactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. TheRadioFactory.com.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-6373-888. All right, Windows 10, it's a free upgrade. The free upgrade, as I record this right now, is going away in about a week. I record, as many people know, I record just a matter of a couple of days before we actually go to air. And I'm looking at this. If you are on a Windows system, you've got a number of choices here. You can stick with your Windows XP. I wouldn't do that. However, if you're on Windows XP, I don't think you've got an easy upgrade path. You have to have kind of a newer system. Windows 7 is really the ideal starting point. Windows 7, Windows 8. Some of the later Vista machines, all of the Vista machines should actually run Windows 10. It's going to have a speed issue for some people. You're going to have hardware issues on some of the Windows XP systems. But moving to Windows 10, look, there are so many reasons to go with Windows 10. I'm going to tell you right now, Windows 10 is it's basically it's a good operating system. It is a situation where, we do know that they're going to start charging for Windows 10. We have seen that come fall, Microsoft is changing how they're going to treat the enterprises. I'm going to tell you right now, we're looking at roughly $84 a year per user in the enterprise. Now, that will come with all of the features, all of the different improvements, the patches, everything. As they move to 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, or 11, or whatever it is, you're going to be paying that regular annual fee. That's in the enterprise arena. We don't know what it's going to cost for you and I outside of that. So for our home PCs, for everything that we're dealing with on a regular basis, but we can say, maybe it'll be something along the lines of $40 a year. I mean, that was what the difference was in price between Microsoft Home and Microsoft Pro. It was about twice as much for professional. So we can say maybe $40, maybe $50 a year. But that's actually not that bad when you consider it's a program that everything runs on. We wind up paying for all of these different apps, these small different amounts on whatever it is that we're buying. I mean, Pokemon Go, or I don't know, whatever it is out there. We pay these smaller amounts. Maybe that'll make it easier for us when we go to buy Windows 10. But we may also find that it's just going to come on the computers that we purchase. Who knows? It's going to be an interesting road. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. Right now, it's free. Come a matter of next Saturday, the 30th, it's free through the 29th. Come the 30th, we may find that your upgrade now will run you $100. Microsoft, however, being truly honest, I've couched this a number of different ways. I've said this very carefully here as I'm presenting this entire thing before you. Microsoft has been known to change their mind and give an extension. If you're going to take advantage of the free upgrade to Windows 10 and you haven't done it already in the last year, this is the week to do it. Do not bet that Microsoft is going to continue that free upgrade. They may decide to change their minds and to make it quite painful. So we go to the big overwhelming concept of, should you do it? Is Windows 10 good? There are minor issues. There are minor issues here and there as far as the privacy aspect. I have said this time and time again. Windows 10 is not really the direction you want to go in if you are a privacy, I don't want to say advocate. If you're heavily into your privacy, then yes, skip over it. It's one of those things you're going to want to hold out for as long as you can. I will note, though, privacy issues are a concern even if you're running Windows 7 or Windows 8, because they did turn on some of the different features within Windows 7 and Windows 8 that tell where you're at and feed that information back to Microsoft. Everybody these days has converted to the concept of utilizing us, it's you and I, as the product. And Facebook is the perfect example. But we are utilizing all of these different things along the way, and they're tracking not the minutia of what you and I do. They're not going, oh man, here's that Benjamin character again. He's writing new material for the radio show. He's doing this, that, or the other thing. Don't get wrapped up into that. But they are tracking on a larger scale what you're doing online. And we're not talking about individual websites. We're talking about genres of websites. Does Benjamin go to a lot of computer websites? Great. Let's feed him more advertising in regards to computer products. Has he been shopping for gifts for his wife? Well, let's give him some more ideas. Maybe he'll spend a little bit more on his wife. Oh, it's Christmas time. Maybe he'll spend a lot more on his wife. Who knows? But I have become a product, as well as you have. We can't help but avoid that when we go surfing across the internet. So that's kind of the big con against going to Windows 10. There's a lot of pros to it. As far as an operating system goes, it is reliable. And when I say reliable, I'm talking highly reliable. This is one of those things where I have been amazed as to how reliable it is. Now, there are options along the way. And I do want to hit on this before we go to the break. One of the big things is that you can actually go to Windows 10 right now and then revert back to Windows 7. As a matter of fact, there might be a matter of a situation where you can upgrade, then downgrade back and wait a little while longer if you want. And that's an approach that you might go. The ability to downgrade, the ability to move back to Windows 8, Windows 7 is only available for a short time. I believe it's about a month after you go to Windows 10. But that's actually, one of those things where you can try it before you buy it. Except it's free. Now, this is a good approach for all of us to take. We need to really reflect on the entire concept of what we're going to do with software. I can make a decision to go to Windows 10. You can make a decision to not go to Windows 10. I will tell you, though, that support is going to start drying up, both from the program vendors and many other locations. Everybody is being told out there that you really need to start writing for Windows 10. And that's one approach that we have to think about. Another approach we have to think about is all of the hardware is going to be for Windows 10. All of the everything that we're seeing along the way. There are certain computers out there that are hard-coded to only run Windows 10. They've kind of locked it down so you can't even get it, buy the system with Windows 10, and then backdate it and just run it back and just reinstall Windows 7 onto it. We're being forced, whether we like it or not, into Windows 10. And yes, you can resist if you want, but I wouldn't advise it. So what I'm going to do in the next segment is we're going to talk about a number of different basic questions about Windows 10 and reasons to do it. That'll be here on Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
All right, so during the break, I found a confirmation in regards to Windows 10 upgrade. All you have to do is just install it, and then you can back it up to your current version, Windows 7, Windows 8, whatever you're running. So you move forward to Windows 10 and then roll it back immediately if you so desire, and it will be good from here on out. A matter of, you can wait a couple of years if you want. But this is your opportunity right now to try it out. And this is one of those things where, yes, you can move forward. You can say, yeah, hey, I do have to learn this. I'll tell you, your office is going to go to it eventually. Everybody is going to it eventually. It's just a matter of time. Windows 10, of course, is moving into a different kind of envelope. And they really are saying it's going to be a lot of the concept of, we're not going to see actually a technical Windows 10.1. Everybody will just migrate to the latest version of Windows 10, and it'll keep going like that. Microsoft has changed their mind a number of times, so who knows? For right now, though, that's their promise. That's their approach. So let's talk about Windows 10 and some of the things. All right, for starters, yes, there is something called Cortana. I don't particularly care for Cortana. I think the assistant on my iPhone is far better, far more accurate, and just easier to get along with. Yes, of course, I'm talking about Siri. Windows 10, I'm running it on multiple machines. I think I've got one machine left out of my entire group of machines that I utilize in any given week. I've got one that's still Windows 7. It might be Windows 8. Not that it matters. It is reliable. It is one of the things I really enjoy about it is multiple desktops. And the concept of multiple desktops allows me to simply just hold down Control, the Windows key, and then tap the left key or the right key, and I will move between various desktops, and I can create more desktops running whatever software that I want to run on those particular desktops. It's a method of organization. And I think about it like this. This is just one feature that's kind of amazing. One of my desktops at the office is regularly running just Microsoft Outlook and the various emails I'm working with that I have that don't wind up over on the other desktops. My next desktop over, I use that just for playing music. Yeah, I've got it on its own screen, but I do that because then I can move directly to that screen. I don't clutter up the rest of my screens. Mind you, I have 4 of them hooked up, and that's a long story on that. The next one over, I utilize for all of the servers that I'm working on, if I'm working on servers in various server-based projects. So if I move to my email, I can track stuff there, and I can move back to all of the different windows that are set up for working on servers. The fourth one, believe it or not, I do this. The fourth one is set up, and its concept there is all of the different research projects that I'm dealing with that aren't having to do with the servers, that aren't having to do with anything that's in the emails where I might have to cut and paste. But that allows me to keep things organized. I just move through and I say, okay, I'm going to work on this now, and I'm going to work on that, and it helps me from getting caught up in the distractions. That whole ADD thing. Think of the movie Up. Oh, squirrel! And it's an amazingly powerful tool that's available to all of us. So that's there. The other things, people ask me about, okay, is my system going to crash during the upgrade? Well, the reality is most of them go seamlessly. We've had a number of people who've changed over and they were unwittingly volunteered to be upgraded. And they went, okay, well, all right, it upgraded for me. I'm not thrilled with it, but then they dive in and they work with it. Windows 10, as we mentioned last week, it has been the most installed after a year upgrade to Windows, and that's really great. That is really absolutely amazing. Now, let's talk about some of the different things along the way. What are we going to get? Speed. Speed is definitely going to be an improvement, especially if you were on Windows 8 or 8.1. And Windows 7, it's going to be about the same there. It's actually pretty good. There are a few things that are going to be faster, a few things that are going to be slower. The start menu is not like Windows 8, which is I'm very happy for that. That is actually a really good approach between the two different things. You may find that you have no interest. You may think that, okay, we had all of that big stuff we were talking about in regards to touch screens when we were dealing with Windows 8 and 8.1. I did suggest back then only do that if you have a touch screen. Windows 10 doesn't require a touch screen, and initially we think, okay, that's did they improve it a little bit? No, they actually improved the concept a lot. There are a few things that they've done, such as you do have touchscreen capabilities. You can swipe in from the left and right and all of that stuff. But it's enabled, but it's not forcing you down that road. There is one thing that another thing that's kind of a bummer out there. Edge, Microsoft Edge is their browser. You still have Internet Explorer. I don't like Edge. I utilize it only. I leave it as a default on all my systems. But if I'm going to go surfing the internet, I completely drop Edge. I don't start up Edge intentionally. But I try to keep it so I'm familiar with it. I'm hoping they'll improve it better along the way. Let's see here. There is the Xbox app. Some people will like that. If you've got an Xbox, if you're into the gaming, there's a lot of power. My son actually went down that road. He tried that out, and he was pleasantly surprised by that. There are, of course, a number of other things out there that you might consider. Yes, there's the issue in regards to a Microsoft account. With Windows 8, that was actually a requirement. It's not a requirement anymore, but I would suggest you actually set one up, and that's okay. There's just I can go on for ages on this, and I want to only touch on these things. I only want to just give you kind of a brief overview. The reality is, the things that should be holding you back, if you bought a cheap PC and it was like 8 years ago, even 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, yeah, leave it aside. But if you've got anything newer than that, it really is, it's time. Go ahead and do it. I have up online at computertalkradio.com a number of different things that I've updated, various notes in regards to Windows 10. Check it out. Again, computertalkradio.com. Right there on the homepage, all you need to do is just click the right icon there for Windows 10. It's just a short little way down the page. This is Benjamin Rockwell. Marty Winston joins me next here on Computer Talk Radio. I'm constantly looking for the right place to get the things that are on my nerd wish list. It's not easy. There are so many stores that have gone out of business. There are so many shady characters online, or so many of them are just simply not capable of handling my needs in a one-stop shop. In 1979, two guys got together and built the brick-and-mortar company that could serve your tech needs. Of course, today, they've got an online presence, and it's called Micro Center. They've got tablets, iPad, yes, but also Android and Windows and all the accessories, too. They've got laptops, desktops, all-in-ones, Windows or Apple, of course, all covered here. Motherboards and processors, and okay, all right, who are we kidding? It's really everything to build your own PC. Keyboards, mice, surge protectors, software, tools, and thumb drives. Enough. Look, from Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com. The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. You have any questions for me? You want to figure out how this works or that works, and you've got something that you found, some searches on the internet, and you want to copy and paste them to me? Email is really the best way to go. Go to computertalkradio.com, slide on down to where it says Contact Us, and then you've got a number of options there, but cut and paste and send me the message, and I'll get back to you just as soon as possible. Marty Winston joins me now, and in the 40-Year House Project is quite a daunting task when you consider all of the different things that you, Marty, are putting into this. How are you having all of this talk to each other?
Well, there's a slight little question, isn't there? We're dealing with quite literally hundreds of sensors. We're dealing with scores of processors between the Raspberry Pis and the Arduinos and a couple other odd platforms. And then, of course, there are the things that are from other people, like eco-vent systems and their very smart hub that controls their register vents, and the Synapse wireless lighting control system. And boy, if they couldn't talk to each other, I'd be there pushing buttons like a puppeteer.
Yeah.
What we have is a well-established and unfortunately not very well known, except among people who try to solve this kind of problem, a thing called MQTT that is pretty gosh darn simple. MQTT works like, I don't want to say post office. People are going to think email. It works like an old post office. Uh-huh. You can publish messages, and when you publish a message, it has a topic. You can subscribe to topics. You can have a broker who makes sure that anybody who wants to publish can connect, anybody who wants to subscribe can connect. And when you're all done, any one thing can reach any one other thing, any one can reach many, any many can reach one. It's extraordinarily versatile. It's just wonderful for getting things talking to each other. It also is very low overhead. I mean, there's a thing out there called JSON, which is a JavaScript object notation. And I could do a JSON call to almost any website, almost any server, and I have to tell you, if you ever tried typing in a Microsoft 25-character unlock key from memory, you have a sense of how complicated a JSON string can get.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I really welcome the simplicity of MQTT.
Okay, so this is one of those things where you can have these little packets, if you will, of information flying around the entire network, and it's headed on out, and anybody can pick it up. And I mean, obviously, it's in your secure network, so it's any of your little devices. And if it isn't for them, they just they ignore it, and they can also add on information.
Oh, adding on is a little more difficult, but they could republish altered information. A good example is our CAP, where we're taking a lot of data in each of 30 locations in the house. Now, a lot of that data is useful on its own, but there's also a place where we need to aggregate it, where instead of just having temperature maps of 30 different places, we need a temperature map of the whole house. That is a beautiful example of how a fast Ethernet connection, a well-massaged set of data, because, of course, we've got Raspberry Pis at each of those 30 Pis, and good planning can end up giving you extra benefit, and that's part of what we're dealing with. One other point, one of the things we're doing in the room, where we're seeing where in the room something as hot as a living being is, once we know that location, we can also take a look and see where they were a tenth of a second ago or 0.2 of a second ago. And if they've moved, we can determine the direction. And as they near a door, we can determine that they're going somewhere else. And that lets us anticipate when to turn lights on and off. It lets us find traffic patterns that help make the house even better at determining what people want.
You know, you probably have. I think we mentioned this on a past week. You're monitoring for fire if it goes over 250. But couldn't you get kind of an early warning concept of, okay, it's 150. It just went to 160. It's 170 now.
Well, you could
utilize some trending like that. Yes.
Well, certainly. That stuff could happen, but I'm not sure it's necessary. Most of the things other than volatile vapors, most of what you're worried about are things that can ignite and combust. Temperature ignites at over 450 degrees. So setting a lower threshold of 250 means that boiling water won't set it off. Most of the things that are common occurrences that might have some heat to them won't set it off.
Okay.
But a pre-combustion condition certainly will. And in addition, I might add, the house will have 14 smoke and fire alarms.
Fair enough. So, yeah, so this is an amazing project. With all of this information communicating back and forth. And just a rough ballpark, how many computers overall are going to be involved? I know 30 Raspberry Pis.
Oh, 30 Raspberry Pis are just the ceiling pods. There's probably a total of 50 Raspberry Pis.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to guess 30 Arduinos, probably 6 other platforms of various types. And that's on a day when nothing especially challenging is happening.
Wow, this is just an amazing concept. I've been just enraptured by all of this. It's whether we're talking about controlling the fans, controlling, reading all of the temperatures, different things out there. This project, of course, has a lot of data available. You've thought through so many things. You put it up online. Give out the website where people can find out more information, if you would.
It would be my pleasure. That's 40 40yearhouse.com. So named because we're trying to make a house that is 40 years maintenance-free. 40yearhouse.com.
This is it's mind-boggling how much people have to think through to put together a house. We go out, we think, okay, I'll just buy a house. I'll have somebody build a house, but not to this extent. At least not yet. Maybe in the future we'll all be thinking like this. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment.
Hey guys, this is Benny Rockwell. Most of us use video cameras nowadays, but what about those old movie films in the back of your closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. Imagine Grandpa's old 8mm and 16mm films that are just sitting in a box getting old and fading away. Legacy Digital will clean and recondition those films, capture them digitally frame by frame, and then produce beautiful DVDs of your precious memories on long-lasting, archive-quality discs. They don't use a projector, and your films can't be damaged in the process, the best available for families like yours. The final results are gorgeous. What better way to preserve those precious memories for future generations? Call right now, mention my name, Benny Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. 1-866-253-4229. And tell them Benny sent you. Your memories are priceless. So call 866-2-LEGACY now.
The website, computertalkradio.com. There is a link up at the website. Actually, a couple of links. One of them is to the YouTube channel. The other one is to the Sysadmin Day that we covered in the first hour. We already have that up and running. So if you want to find out how long it is until Sysadmin Day, which is next Friday, this coming Friday, really. But once we basically put up the counter, and there you go. Steve Keski joins me now. And Steve, I presume that you found out about our YouTube link posted up at computertalkradio.com, and you've been checking out the videos as well.
Oh, yes.
And
you can't see anything, but you can really hear some really good comments about a lot of things.
This, of course, coming from the blind guy.
Yes, yeah. Coming from the blind guy.
So I do have.
I do like the concept that we are on YouTube. I like that whole idea, and it gives us one more avenue, shall we say, for people to check out the website.
Or the show. All of it. Yeah, it's great. So, one of the things I've been, it's been, about 3-4 weeks, maybe longer, that you've had your new hearing aids. And
that's true.
I'd like to get an update on those. What has kind of been the best thing that you've experienced over the course of the last few weeks? I know they've been tweaking them, right?
Yeah. What they do is basically they start you out at about 50% of the total volume, because you have to get used to the idea, like every baby does and every child does. They have to get used to that feedback that comes from your vocal cords reverberating through your brain.
Sure, yeah.
And you got it. And now with the hearing aids and the microphones right alongside of my skull, they tend to pick up a lot of more of that vibration. So you have to get used to the increase in that vibration. So that's why they start you out at 50% and work you up from there. I'm now, I believe I'm 100% on the volume. Now we're working on getting finding the frequency at which my tinnitus is at in my ears.
Okay,
that's a high, for our listeners who don't know, that is people who hear a tone in their ear or ears that is not there.
Yeah, it's a hum or a squeal or something just like that. Yeah,
anything. But the whole idea is that it's coming into your brain. Your brain hears it, but it's not really there in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
So, right now we're trying to find the correct pitch for that and for frequency, so that he can institute the filter, and the filter will try to, shall we say, educate my brain not to listen to the tinnitus.
Okay, all right. So now, along with that, I'm curious. What are the good things you've noticed about hearing aids? What are the bad things you've noticed?
I can hear.
Okay.
And I can hear people whispering now that I couldn't hear before.
Are you sure those aren't the voices in your head?
No.
You're not sure?
I am sure they're not. No.
I couldn't resist. Go ahead.
Hey, according to my wife, I have hearing aids, but I'm still tone deaf.
Okay.
That doesn't help. It's the real big differences are the clarity of the words. Now, he gave me a test before he put in the hearing aids. And the test was that certain sounds like S's and the complex portion of S's, I didn't always understand.
Okay. All right.
Persons would say that. And the volume has to be higher, because if some people who have softer voices, I really couldn't understand what they were saying. I know they were saying something, I just couldn't understand it.
Okay.
So these are the really two real big ones. If I get rid of the tinnitus, or that we have that filter in there, I'll tell you what, then I'm really going to say, hey, yeah.
Any negative things though? This all sounds kind of positive.
The
Not
negative,
kind of, really positive.
Yeah, it is really positive. The things I've had to get used to is having stuff stuck in my ears, because I have the microphones behind my ear, but the actual speakers are in my ear canal.
Okay.
So having that speaker there, and it's not very big, but having it there, I have to take them out at night to charge them up. But, that's no big deal. But I have to make sure that I keep the wax buildup from building up on the end of these things. And these things, which are minor, but it's the idea of putting them in and taking them out all the time.
Okay.
That can create a problem. But it's more of an getting used to things that you have to do with them, and, the maintenance and care and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my grandfather had hearing aids for a good portion of his later life, I would say from probably about his mid-40s on. And, he had the battery issue, which they've taken, rechargeable batteries now. And then the entire tuning of the hearing aids. And we need to really dial into that. We need to discuss that on a future show here on Computer Talk Radio. That's Steve Keski, and I'm Benjamin Rockwell. I'll be back with my closing comments in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and, well, a normal person. Recently, though, it became clear to me that it was time to upgrade. I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost? It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After looking for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their care, their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when all I needed was a 1-gallon bucket. The folks at SiteGround know WordPress, Joomla, and more. SiteGround.com. S-I-T-E ground.com for your web hosting needs. SiteGround. This past week, wow, what an amazing week in the world of politics. And then there was a bunch of stuff, of course, in the computing world. In this coming week is looking to be even more wild in both areas. Yes, we had the Republican convention this past week. This coming week, yes, it's the Democrat convention. And I'm really surprised at the lack of technology announcements and interactions. Okay, yeah, we did have the founder of PayPal at the Republican convention. That was, but there hasn't been as much talk this year in regards to the tech that the tech approaches that these various candidates want to work with. But that's beside the point. This coming week, of course, brings us Sysadmins Day. That's on Friday. And also on Friday, the last day, as far as we know right now, for you to get Windows 10 for free, for a free upgrade. I want you to, I ask you, I would hope that you would remember to keep calm, to just... I'm looking at this election season and how wild it's been and all of the different strife that we've had just popping up in various places across this country, unfolding on Facebook, and all of the directions we're going in. And I think I'm going to actually really talk about this more in depth on an upcoming show. I've actually been, I've had multiple salespeople call me. These are normally salespeople, and they're talking politics with me, which is kind of funny because I normally don't talk a whole lot of politics with them. They're salespeople. I talk nerd stuff with them, and I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm just an easy guy to talk to, and maybe the world has changed. But I have noticed a lot of really wild comments and just a number of different things. And I don't even know where to go with all of this. Yeah, we're going to be talking about politics a lot more as we move on through the year. We're gonna keep that tech angle on it. We have to. The reality is, I want what's best for our technology. I want what's best for our technological future. And I'm going to be talking about some of the different things as they come up about technology and how it's going to impact this election, and what are the things that this election is going to impact in the world of technology. And I hope and trust that you understand that this is for the best. Or at least that's what I want it for. I want it to be for the best. I just want us to all take a deep breath and to think before we speak, to pause before we start blasting this person or that person for this thing or that thing, and to remain civil. I hope that's not too much to ask. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. We'll catch you next week.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time.